Hello everyone, it's Jodie here again. Welcome back to my channel, and I'm back today talking about ADHD because loads of people have messaged me asking what you do about getting diagnosed and just generally a little bit of information about the process. This is just a really quick fire video just to help you guys in your journey, whether it's yourself or with your children, on that diagnosis process. So first thing is, you need to be diagnosed by a psychiatrist. It's not something that your GP or your friends or your family or your therapist can diagnose unless your therapist is a psychiatrist. But it is really important that you get a formal diagnosis and then they will recommend what you need to do. So how do you do that? Well, first of all, you can do it on the NHS. However, I found that process was really difficult because the waiting list for adult ADHD was over 2 years. So I actually went private and paid about £300 for a psychiatrist to do an assessment. What they did was they interviewed me, but before they did that, they actually asked me to get at least two people, one person that had known me for like over 10 years and another person that's really close to me now, to basically fill in some forms about me. So I actually got my best friend, my mum and my brother to do it. So people that really knew me, and they basically had to score me through all sorts of different things and fill lots of forms in, really understanding like my behaviours when as a child, now, and all that type of thing. So it's quite an in-depth process. It's not just you having an interview. So first of all, you have to think about that. Who would you use? Who really knows you? Who would be willing to kind of put the time in to do that for you? And then once you've got that information, you need to email that to your psychiatrist, and what he will do, he or she, mine was a he, that's fine. What he did for me was then arranged an interview, and that interview basically went through some of those things, but also then scored me. So I had to score myself on lots of different areas of my life. And I was then diagnosed with ADHD, both combined. So there's two types of ADHD. You've got your inattentive and your hyperactive. Some people can be diagnosed with just one or the other. I was diagnosed with both. So he'll go through that in a lot of detail. And actually, I think the meeting was about 2 hours long on a video call. So obviously, if you're in lockdown or you've found someone that isn't local to you, you can actually do that all via a video link. Alternatively, you can find someone and do it in person if you want to. Now, as a result of that, what he then did was sent me a full report, a medical report, confirming my diagnosis and why he felt that I was ADHD combined. Now, obviously, depending on your diagnosis, it'll explain why you're more one than the other or both. And then what he did was email that over to me with suggestions about how to move forward. So I decided to go ahead with medication. You don't have to do that, but you'll have the full support of a psychiatrist to explain what the medication is, what would be suitable, what wouldn't be suitable, and obviously then looking at things like ADHD coaches and therapists to support you from a day-to-day behavioural coping strategies perspective. So hopefully that was helpful. If you have a child that's been that you think is possibly ADHD, I would certainly recommend getting a diagnosis earlier. I wish I had known earlier. I'm 32 and I've just found out. So if I'd have known earlier, I could have put so many things in place to support me. So it's definitely something that you should consider, and children tend to have more support just because it tends to be diagnosed in children rather than adults. The other thing is to consider that it's less likely to be spotted in a woman. Most people with ADHD are men or boys. It manifests very differently in boys and girls. So again, I encourage people to get a medical diagnosis rather than assuming they do or don't have it. Actually speak to a specialist first. I hope this is helpful. If you've got any more questions on my journey or anything to do with ADHD, anxiety, PTSD, or any of the things that I've talked about in my previous videos, just hit me up. I'm happy to chat to people, and please like, share and subscribe as always. And I'll see you back here for another video on ADHD soon. Thanks for watching.